Rihanna counted each labored breath as the escape pod's oxygen reserves dwindled. 72 hours had passed since her people abandoned her to the void. The once vibrant silver sheen of her skin had dulled to a sickly gray, and the bioluminescent patterns marking her as a Xerion flickered faintly across her forearms. System failure loomed. Oxygen reserves at 8%, the pod's AI announced in its infuriatingly calm tone. Rena gazed through the small porthole at the boundless sea of stars, beautiful yet utterly indifferent to her plight. Each distant spark represented a future she'd never reach. A sob escaped her parched lips, hollow in the pod's cramped interior. "Is this how it ends?" she whispered. "Betrayed by my own kind, left to die alone." Memories surged, sharp and painful. A covert mission to the border territories, her discovery of the truth, high commanders deploying illegal weapons against neutral colonies. When she questioned the morality and proposed reporting the violations to the Galactic Council, they branded her a traitor. Security forces dragged her to this escape pod, Commander Vex overseeing her exile with cold precision. "You're lucky," he'd said, his silver eyes devoid of warmth. "This is more mercy than you deserve." With a final sneer, he sealed the pod and cast her into uncharted space, far from any Xerion patrol, where no one would uncover the military's treaty violations. The pod's lights flickered, casting Rena in alternating shadows and harsh red emergency glow. She closed her eyes, conserving what little strength remained. Xerions could endure longer than most without oxygen, but even their biology had limits. A sudden beep startled her from her daze. The navigation panel flashed, a first in 3 days. With trembling hands, Rena pulled herself closer. "Unknown vessel detected. Range 15,000 kilometers approaching," the AI reported. Hope and dread collided within her. Someone had found her. But who? The scanner revealed a ship unlike any Xerion design. Bulky, inelegant, with protruding sections that seemed almost chaotic to her trained eye. Humans. Icy fear gripped her. Xerion teachings painted humans as volatile, destructive beings who nearly annihilated their own planet before spreading their chaos to the stars. Avoided in diplomatic circles, they were deemed too unpredictable for alliances. "Warning, oxygen levels critical, 5% remaining," the AI intoned. The human vessel closed in. Rena's mind raced. Signal for help and risk capture by these feared creatures, or remain silent and embrace death. Her finger hovered over the distress beacon. Death was certain without aid. With humans, it was merely probable. "I choose to live," she whispered, activating the beacon. Pulses of energy radiated outward, impossible to miss. Now she waited, unsure if she'd summoned saviors or captors. Minutes stretched like hours as the human ship approached. Through the porthole, Rena glimpsed its details. A gray-white hull marked with unreadable symbols, glowing propulsion systems. It was larger than she'd thought, perhaps a mid-sized cargo or patrol vessel. The comm system crackled, startling her. "Unidentified escape pod. This is the UES Horizon. We're receiving your distress signal. Do you copy?" The deep voice, speaking galactic standard with a slight accent, was unfamiliar. Rena reached for the comm panel with shaking hands. "This is Xerion Citizen Rena. I copy." Her voice sounded frail even to herself. A pause. "We detect critically low life support in your vessel. Preparing emergency docking. Stand by." Rena's chest tightened, not just from oxygen deprivation. The humans were coming. There was no turning back. She felt a subtle shift as the pod was caught in a tractor beam, the motion dizzying in her weakened state. Metal scraped against metal as the vessels connected. Her vision blurred. Each breath felt like inhaling through cloth. Alarms blared as systems failed. Distantly, she heard the airlock hiss, then the grind of the pod's door being forced open. Light flooded in, blinding after days in dimness. A humanoid silhouette appeared, unfamiliar yet distinct. Rena's final thought before darkness took her was that humans seemed both more and less terrifying than she'd imagined. The sensation of deep, full breaths roused her. Her eyes fluttered open to bright lights and the soft beeping of medical equipment. An oxygen mask covered her face, delivering rich air. For a moment, she simply savored her lungs filling properly. "She's awake," a voice said. Rena turned to see a human woman in a white uniform stepping back from the bed. Her warm brown skin and tightly pulled-back hair contrasted with the monstrous depictions in Xerion propaganda. "I'll notify the captain," the woman said, exiting. Alone, Rena assessed her surroundings. She lay in a medical bay, monitors displaying her vitals, calibrated correctly for Xerion physiology, to her surprise. More shocking was the absence of restraints. A Xarian ship would have secured a human immediately. The doors slid open, admitting a tall human male with a commanding presence, despite lacking Xerian luminescence. His short, dark hair, flecked with gray and piercing blue eyes, evoked the rare mineral veins of her homeworld's mountains. "I'm Captain Rayner of the United Earthship Horizon," he said, stopping at a respectful distance. "How are you feeling?" Rena cautiously removed the mask. "I can breathe, thank you." A faint smile crossed his face. "Dr. Chen said you were 20 minutes from respiratory failure when we found you. You're fortunate we detected your pod. We diverted from our patrol route to investigate an anomaly." 20 minutes. The nearness of death chilled her. "Why save me?" she asked, the question slipping out. "I'm Xerian." Captain Rayner's expression grew serious. "Does that matter? You were dying. Your own people left you to die." His words, devoid of malice, struck like a blow. Before she could respond, another human entered, his face etched with suspicion. "Captain, we need to talk," he said, barely glancing at Rena. "Commander Miles, our guest is recovering," Rayner replied pointedly. "That's exactly the issue," Miles whispered, though Rena heard clearly. "Security scanned the pod. It's Xerion military issue. We've either rescued or captured a military operative." Rayner's face remained neutral. "We'll discuss this outside. Dr. Chen will check your vitals soon," he told Rena before following Miles out. Alone, Rena closed her eyes, overwhelmed. She'd expected interrogation or violence. Instead, she received care and a captain who seemed genuinely concerned. Yet Miles' suspicion felt familiar. He wasn't wrong. She had been military, though now she was an exile, a non-entity to her kind. Dr. Chen, the medical officer, returned to run scans. Her manner was professional yet kind. "Your body was shutting down non-essential functions to survive," she explained, checking a tablet. "We've stabilized your oxygen levels, but you need rest. Your cellular structure differs from ours, but trauma care principles apply." "Have you treated Xerians before?" Rena asked, surprised. "No, but we have xenobiological databases. First contact with your species was 30 years ago, though relations remain limited." Dr. Chen's tone was neutral. A soft alarm sounded. Chen glanced at it, frowning. "What is it?" Rena asked. "Nothing for you to worry about," Chen replied, but her quickened movements suggested otherwise. "The captain has arranged quarters for you once you're stable. Rest." She hurried out. Hours later, in small but comfortable guest quarters, Rena learned the alarm's cause. Captain Rayner visited, his expression grave. "We've detected Xerian vessels in this sector, 3 cruiser-class ships searching methodically." Rena paled. "They're looking for me." "Are they?" Rayner's gaze was piercing. "Why deploy warships for one escape pod?" "Because I know things they can't let reach the Galactic Council," Rena admitted. Things that would ruin the hegemony's reputation. Rayner nodded, as if confirming a suspicion. Commander Miles thinks we should notify the Zarian fleet and transfer you. If we do, you'll be dead within hours. I know, Rena whispered. Which is why I denied his request, Rayner said, surprising her. But some crew share his view. We're a scientific vessel, not a warship. Confronting Zerion cruisers would be unwise. Then why not turn me over? Rena asked, genuinely puzzled. Rayner paused, choosing his words. Humans have a troubled history. We've done terrible things. Some stories your people tell about us aren't entirely false. He moved to the viewport, staring at the stars. But we've learned. We don't abandon those in need, no matter who they are. He turned to her. I need to know why your people want you dead, not to judge, but to understand what we're facing. Rena took a deep breath. This human had saved her. He deserved the truth. I was on a classified operation along the Perseus-Arm border. Officially, we monitored pirate activity. In reality, we tested biological weapons targeting non-Zerion physiologies. Rayner's expression hardened, but he stayed silent. The tests weren't in empty space, Rena continued, her voice breaking. They targeted inhabited moons, small, mixed-species settlements. Hundreds died. When I confronted my commander, he claimed it was for Zerion security. When I threatened to report it to the Galactic Council, they labeled me a traitor and exiled me to hide the evidence. The hegemony poses as enlightened, Rayner said. This would shatter that image and trigger sanctions, maybe war. Rena nodded. Exactly. Thank you for your honesty, Rayner said. Rest. I'll inform the crew. As he reached the door, Rena called, Captain, what will you do? What we must, he replied. We won't hand you to executioners, whatever the risk. Then he was gone. Rena sank onto the bunk, reeling. Humans, the supposedly savage species, were risking their lives for her, a stranger. Her own people, whom she'd served loyally, had discarded her without hesitation. For the first time since her exile, Rena wept, not from fear, but from the shattering of her worldview. Over the next days, as her strength returned, Rayner granted her limited ship access, always escorted but treated with dignity. She learned about human culture through crew conversations and the ship's archives. Some avoided her, others, like Navigation Officer Arya and Technician Sada, showed curiosity. Is it true Zarions control their bioluminescence emotionally? Arya asked during a meal. Rena let her forearm patterns pulse blue, partly voluntary, partly instinctive. Strong emotions can override control. Fascinating, Sada said. Our ancestors would have called that magic, just as we thought your adaptability was supernatural. Rena smiled. Zerion teachings call humans unpredictable because you thrive in so many environments. That's a polite way of saying we're cockroaches, Arya laughed, explaining the term when Rena looked puzzled. These connections were punctuated by danger. Twice the ship went on alert as Zerion vessels neared. Each time the horizon evaded detection through stealth tech and Rayner's navigation. On the fifth day, Rena was summoned to the bridge. She entered nervously, feeling the crew's stares. The main screen displayed a tactical map, Zerion vessels clustering closer. They're refining their search, Rayner explained. Commander Vex knows where your pod likely drifted. It's only a matter of time, Commander Miles said, arms crossed. We can't outrun cruisers. What are our options? Rena asked. Limited, Rayner admitted. We're 4 days from a UE outpost, 2 from neutral space. Vex's ships are between us and the neutral zone. There's another option, Miles said flatly. Contact them. Say we found a pod, unaware of the situation, and arrange a transfer. You mean surrender her, Rayner corrected. I mean save the ship and 63 crew, Miles retorted. Silence fell. Rena saw conflicted faces, some nodding with Miles. I can't ask you to die for me, she said softly. I'll go. No, Rayner said firmly. That's not how we operate. With respect, Captain, another officer interjected, Miles has a point. We're not equipped for this. Before Rayner could reply, the tactical officer shouted, Sir, Zerian cruiser changing course, heading for us at high speed. They've detected us. Battle stations, Rayner ordered. Shields up. Prepare evasive maneuvers. The bridge buzzed with activity. Rena stood frozen, awed by the crew's unity. Get to your quarters, Miles told her, not unkindly. This could get rough. Let me help, Rena said. I know Zerian tactics and comm protocols. An alert interrupted. The screen showed the cruiser accelerating. They're hailing, the comm officer said. On screen, Rayner ordered. Commander Vex's silver face appeared, exuding cold authority. Human vessel, you've entered a restricted Zerian zone. Power down and prepare for boarding. Commander, this is Captain Alec Rayner of the UES Horizon, Rayner replied. We're on a sanctioned patrol under Sector Agreement 17B. This isn't Zerion territory. Vex's eyes narrowed. Our sensors suggest you harbor a fugitive, a dangerous criminal with stolen classified data. Surrender them immediately. We've recovered no such person, Rayner said evenly. The lie stunned Rena. Zerians prided themselves on honesty, a trait they claimed humans lacked. Yet here was a human lying to protect her, while her commander betrayed every Zerian principle. Vex's expression hardened. You have 1 hour to reconsider, Captain. Then we'll take necessary measures. The screen went blank. 1 hour, Rayner said. Ideas? We could push the engines past safety limits, the navigation officer suggested. Their weapons would disable us first, the tactical officer countered. Rena stepped forward. Captain, may I speak? Rayner nodded. Vex won't negotiate. The weapons program must stay secret. He'll destroy this ship if needed. She paused, summoning courage. But I have an idea. If I access your comm system, I can send a coded message to the Galactic Council's Antar outpost. What good would that do? Miles asked. They're 2 days away. Not for help, Rena said. For insurance. I'd encode data on the weapons program set to transmit to the Council if this ship is destroyed. Vex would risk exposing what he's hiding. The crew exchanged glances. You're suggesting a bluff, Rayner said. Yes, Rena admitted. It's risky, but it's our only leverage. After a tense pause, Rayner nodded. Do it. Miles, assist her. Miles sighed. Aye, Captain. For 40 minutes, Rena and the comm team encoded her message. Details of the weapons program, test sites, casualties, and authorizations set to broadcast if the Horizon suffered catastrophic damage. As the deadline neared, Rayner hailed Vex. Have you reconsidered? Vex asked, impatient. We have, Rayner replied. We maintain we've found no fugitive. However, we received an anonymous data package about alleged Zerion activities in the Perseus Arm, disturbing information. Vex's face remained stoic, but Rena caught a flicker in his luminescence, a Zerian sign of agitation. This data, he said cautiously. What do you intend? That depends, Rayner said. It's set to transmit to the Galactic Council if anything happens to this ship. I'm sure you understand my caution, given your threats. Vex's eyes flicked off screen, likely consulting someone. His tone softened. Perhaps a misunderstanding. Our intelligence may be flawed. You may proceed, Captain, with our apologies for the inconvenience. How considerate, Rayner said dryly. Horizon out. The cruiser held position, then turned away, powering down weapons. They're resuming patrol, the tactical officer reported. Cheers erupted. They're retreating for now, Rayner cautioned. Navigator, plot a course for the neutral zone, maximum speed. To Rena, he said, well done. It won't last, she warned. Vex will strategize with his superiors. Then we'll use our head start, Rayner said. Miles approached Rena, his guarded demeanor softening. Quick thinking. You risked exposing your people's secrets to save us. They stopped being my people when they used weapons on innocents, Rena said. Besides, I've learned the stories we tell about others often reveal more about ourselves. Miles nodded, returning to his station. The reprieve was brief. 18 hours later, sensors detected 4 Zerion vessels, 3 cruisers and a destroyer, converging to intercept before the horizon reached neutral space. Time to boundary, Rayner asked. 47 minutes, the navigator replied. They'll intercept in 35. Can we increase speed? Rayner asked. Engines are at 110%, the engineer said. Pushing risks a core breach. Rena spoke. They're not negotiating now. Vex convinced his superiors that silencing me outweighs exposure risks. Agreed, Rayner said. Options? Deploy a shuttle as a decoy with false data and life signs, Miles suggested. They destroy it and pursue us, Rena countered. An alert blared. Zarion vessels powering weapons, the tactical officer warned. Firing range in 2 minutes. Shields to maximum, Rayner ordered. Armed defenses. Our shields won't hold against multiple cruisers, the tactical officer said. I know, Rayner said calmly. But we'll fight. Rena marveled at the crew's resolve to face certain defeat for her. Captain, let me use a comm terminal. I'll address them. Offer to surrender if they spare the ship. Out of the question, Rayner said. We don't sacrifice those under our protection. I'm choosing this, Rena insisted. Your people showed me more humanity than mine. Let me repay it. The ship shuddered from a direct hit. Shields at 82%, the tactical officer shouted. Return fire defensive pattern alpha, Rayner ordered. Another blast rocked the ship, sparking a console explosion. Port shields failing. Hull breach on deck C. Rayner aided a wounded crewman, then resumed command. Target their weapons. The Horizon's weapons scored a hit, but it was futile against the cruisers. 3 more hits, and we're done, Miles shouted. Captain, the comm officer interrupted. Another ship approaching, United Earth Force battle cruiser. A massive warship appeared on the tactical display. It's the UES Defiance, the officer said. They're hailing us and the Zarians. On screen, Rayner ordered. Admiral Helena Reeves appeared, her voice commanding. This is Admiral Reeves of the UES Defiance. Cease fire immediately. The Zarian attack paused. Admiral, your timing is impeccable, Rayner said. How did you know? Your distress signal reached Earth Command, Reeves explained. We were nearby. What's the situation? Commander Vex appeared on a split screen, furious. Admiral, this is a Zarian security matter. Your interference violates treaties. Does it? Reeves said coolly. I see Zarian warships attacking a UE vessel in neutral space, an act of war. Your vessel harbors a criminal with evidence of Zarian war crimes. The Defiance will escort the Horizon to Galactic Council space for investigation. You'd risk war, Vex spat. We'd defend innocent lives, Reeves said. My weapons are locked on your ships. Withdraw. After a tense silence, Vex relented. This isn't over, Admiral. The hegemony will protest to the Council. I look forward to addressing it, with Captain Rayner's evidence, Reeves replied. The Zarian fleet retreated. Damage report, Rayner ordered. Hull breaches contained, moderate propulsion damage, 12 injuries, the tactical officer reported. It could have been worse, Rayner said, turning to Rena. Your evidence will reach the Council. Reeves' face remained on screen. "Captain, I need a briefing and to meet this Zarian witness." "Of course, Admiral," Rayner said. "We'll dock with the Defiance once repairs allow." After the transmission, Rayner approached Rena. "You were willing to sacrifice yourself." "You were willing to die for me," she replied. "I couldn't let that happen." "Principles are only meaningful when they cost something," Rayner said, smiling faintly. At a console, Miles spoke to Rena. "I misjudged you." "And I misjudged humans," she said. "We've all believed the worst about others." "Will your evidence change things?" Miles asked. "I don't know," Rena said, "but the truth will be heard." "That's a start." 3 days later, the Horizon docked with the Defiance for repairs, set to escort them to Council space where Rena would testify. In the Horizon's observation lounge, Rena gazed at the stars, no longer cold but full of promise. Rayner joined her. "Admiral Reeves believes the Council will grant you asylum. Your evidence is compelling, but the Zarians will fight back." "I'm not afraid," Rena said. "For the first time, I'm ready." "What will you do after if the Council protects you?" Rayner asked. "I can't return to my people," Rena said. "I don't know." "The UEF wants your expertise on Zarion tech and culture," Rayner said, "and the Horizon could use an interspecies affairs advisor." "You'd accept me after everything?" Rena asked, her skin glowing blue with gratitude. "Especially after everything," Rayner said. "You're courageous and principled, qualities we value." "I'd be honored to consider it," Rena said. "The choice is yours," Rayner said. "For now, let's get you to the Council." Rena gazed at the stars. No one cared until the feared humans did the unthinkable. "What was that?" Rayner asked. "You saw me as a person," Rena said. "Not an asset, threat, or problem. Just someone who deserved to live." "Maybe that's the lesson," Rayner said. "In all our differences, compassion makes the stars worth exploring." The intercom crackled. "Captain Rayner to the bridge. Transfer with the Defiance is ready." "On my way," Rayner replied, turning to Rena. "Ready for the next chapter?" Rena looked at the universe beyond, no longer a void, but a realm of possibilities. "Yes," she said. "I'm ready." They left the lounge, the human captain and Zarian exile, bound by principles transcending species and space. Behind them, the stars bore witness to another miracle, enemies becoming allies, fear turning to trust, and hope blooming in the unlikeliest of places.